front, taking a turn here. Wow. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing a BMW M3 Competition. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork for giving me some time with this M3. Check out the inventory in the description down below if you're interested in a new Ford or some of their cool pre-owned inventory. Just because of where they're located, they get a lot of really cool trade-ins. They have this M3 Competition. They also just traded in a 2022 Ram TRX and a 2022 Ford Raptor. So suffice to say, they're stacked up with cool trade-ins on top of the new Ford product. Now, on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into the review. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 503 horsepower and then 479 pound-feet of torque, which is crazy out of a 3-liter inline-6. I love how it says BMW M Power right there, and then you have another M logo down below. And yeah, just a cool display overall. So I do want to mention before we go over the front end that this car just got traded in. So the Kengar Ford here in American Fork has not had any time to clean this off whatsoever before you guys complain that it's dirty. I just rushed to the dealership because I'm pretty sure this car is going to sell really fast. And so, you know, I wanted to get the review in before it's gone. Anyways, I love the hood here on the new M3. You guys can see super muscular with the body lines. And just like that M340i that I filmed, this is that really cool metallic gray color with the gold flake. And then you can see here with the headlights, notice we've got the LED accent lights there with the LED headlights, and we have the blue there in the headlight as well. Definitely a cool aesthetic. Parking sensors here on the front end, and then you can see the aggressive venting there off to the side. And then just look how aggressive this front end is. And obviously we've got the massive grille there with our M3 Competition logo. And overall, you know what? For the regular 3 Series, I'm not so sure about the styling, but for the M3, I actually like the bigger grille. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped on 19-inch wheels in the front, and then two 85mm tires wrapped on 20-inch wheels in the back. And I love the design here with the wheel. I think it just looks so cool. Notice here we've got the silver there on the top, and it's kind of darker in the center. And then we have our red M brake caliper, and just look how big those rotors are. And then you guys can see here with the fender, just kind of notice it's a little bit wider, it looks like. Got our M3 Competition logo. Mirrors have been blacked out. And you can see here in the back especially, like look at that extra width. And then notice here with the side skirt. And then look at that from a side view perspective. Again, really aggressive in terms of the appearance. Now here's a key fob. We have our unlock, lock, and then the opening here for the trunk. So just press that and it'll pop right open. Now you can see here from a storage space perspective, it's actually really solid. And then you guys can see here with the cargo floor, it looks like you can lift it up. You just have to kind of get your finger there under the side. But yeah, for being a smaller car, it's actually pretty practical. And look at that. You can press that to lower it down yourself. That's pretty cool. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So you guys can see we've got this little low profile spoiler. It is finished in black. Love the new taillight design too. That is really cool from an aesthetic perspective. Got our M3 Competition badge here. And look how aggressive these exhaust tips are. And then look at the diffuser as well. And don't worry, we'll get an exhaust clip a little bit later, but you can see just how wide it is with the hips in the front and in the rear. Definitely gives it a cool, aggressive appearance. Now going over the door panel here in the rear, notice we've got leather all over the door panel itself and normal BMW door handle. Harman Kardon sound system, so a couple speakers right there. And then look at the headrest, kind of have the split with the materials. And then notice perforated leather here down the center, got our M colors on the seat belt. Then popping in, ooh, there's the legroom, there's the headroom. And then you guys can see down below, we got our vents, we got our climate controls here for the rear with the USBs. And then you can press this, and notice it pops down so that you can access the trunk. That is pretty neat. Let's head to the front. Now here is the front door panel. You guys can see again with all of the leather trim, and then notice we've got the memory seats, window controls, and then mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and the water bottle and all that, no extra charge for that, okay? No extra charge. Like I said, Hasn't been cleaned out or anything. Anyways, M3 Competition right there. And then notice here with the front seats, again, says M3 in it. And just look how cool these are from a design standpoint. Again, you got the M colors on the seat belt. And then notice the adjustments here on the side. And here's the pedal layout down below. We've got all of our light controls right here. And then you guys can see the paddle shifters here on the steering wheel. And let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. You guys can see leather trim all around. And then again, we've got those M colors around the center with the M logo down below, and then some carbon fiber heated steering wheel button. And then you can see here more carbon fiber around all the controls here for like your phone controls, for example, cruise control on the other side. We've got the paddle shifters here in the back, and we have the 2 different M modes. And notice even the airbag cover has some nice stitching on it, so it looks great. And then, you know, regular stocks for the turn signal and then the windshield wipers. But overall, definitely cool looking steering wheel. So we've got the center gauge cluster here, and definitely looks cool, full digital gauge cluster. And again, we've got that M1. Notice that'll pop on, it opens up the valves with how that one's set. And then the M2, and notice limited chassis stabilization. It's like, hey, if you're going into M2, make sure. So you have to like press it, and notice you have an M2 confirm, because it's like, are you sure you want to go into the M2 mode? So I think that's pretty cool. And then we do have an M mode. So this is basically our sport mode. So we have your road, and then notice when you change into sport, how it gets really aggressive with the gauge cluster. That's another cool thing. And you know, it's got normal practical stuff, like it shows how much fuel we have, and also shows stability control is off because we are in M2. But yeah, it's a good system. So here is the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it over into reverse, which is pretty interesting to get into, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and then notice we've got all the different camera viewpoints here. So you can press the little camera button, and then it will change the viewpoint depending on which angle you press. And yeah, that's pretty much everything from a camera perspective. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, you've got this shortcut bar here on the side, which you can scroll through different menus. So like I can go to navigation if I want. And so pretty easy to use. And then you just have the rest of the screen, which really responsive. And then notice it shows us our current setup right now with everything. And so yeah, overall, easy to use, great response time. And also safety tech button, press that, and then that'll let you change what you want happening there. So down below, we've got all of our climate controls. Notice we have heated and cooled seats right here. So you can see that you can switch between them, and it'll pop up here on the screen. So notice that if I press this, it'll show me that it's doing the ventilation. So cool, and it's built all into one button, which is pretty interesting. Got our radio controls just down below. And actually, I wonder if this has gesture control. I don't think so. Okay, well, I don't have the radio on too. So anyways, we're gonna continue along. We got the carbon fiber here, wireless phone charger, couple of cup holders with USB and a 12 volt. And then you can see the shifter for that 8-speed automatic. And again, they got the M colors here with the M logo in the center. Now this is the weird part. So like this, I get to neutral, and then reverse is up. And then notice I can press park, and it's just going to blink at me because I have to pull the shifter back into the center portion to go into park, and then over for drive. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, the functionality here with the shifter itself. I've never really experienced anything quite like this. Anyways, stability control right there. And then this is the little camera button that you can press for the camera to turn that on, which is cool. Parking sensors, auto stop start. Love the red engine stop start button. Your M mode, and then notice your setup button right here that you can press to set everything up. This is the exhaust to open or close it. And there is a difference. You guys will hear in the exhaust clip. Auto hold, got our parking brake right here. And then notice this M3 Competition. Analog controls for the infotainment system. So if for some reason you don't want to use the touchscreen, you've got this whole setup that you can use. And then we have the center console. And notice again, nice leather here. And then more carbon fiber here on the dash. And then there's also some stitching here on that portion of the dash. And then pretty normal glove box setup. And then popping up top here, you guys can see a mirror, and we don't have a sunroof because of the carbon fiber roof that I forgot to show you guys earlier. So let me show that to you, and then we'll take it out and drive it. So here we go. We have a carbon fiber roof, which is kind of like a competition thing with BMWs. And when I say competition thing, when they make their competition versions of the M cars, they always seem to do carbon fiber roofs. And also, it's probably gonna rain again, so it's a good thing that we didn't clean off this car, because it would have been completely pointless. And, well, let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood. And notice we've got a heads-up display too. Both the mirrors, again, we've got blind spot monitoring. Then throughout the rest of the rear, I love how you have like the inserts on the sides of the seats too. It's pretty cool. Anyways, weird shifter. Let's set off. So we are initially setting off here in the M3 Competition, and I actually need your guys' help in the comment section below. So there's that little button on the shifter, and you can see right by the D, it like increases or decreases the lines. I don't actually know what that does. I've never seen that before in a BMW, so please enlighten me down below so that we can help out other people that also do not know, because again, I've never seen that before. But initially setting off here, I mean, the engine's, you know, kind of punchy, but this feels like a normal car. Like the suspension's smooth. It definitely, like the engine's definitely louder than a normal car. Got the valves open, but if I close the valves actually, see how that sounds. Yeah, it's still loud with the valves closed. Now we're just gonna pop it into the sport mode now. We're gonna let this person go first. We're trying to figure out our life, okay, people? And taking a turn here. Wow. That's quick. That is quick. So I'll pop it into the manual mode. Wow, the transmission's so responsive. Thing's interesting about this engine though is usually BMWs will have like the crackles and the pops and the farts, just like the Supra, because it has the same engine. This doesn't though. It's like they've just taken that out, but yeah, you guys heard the power figures. It's quick. Yeah, and that sports setting, the suspension's actually pretty stiff as well. So we're gonna pop it into drive again. Just back in automatic. And yeah, I know it's a little bit of a short drive for, you know, a car like this, but I've driven tons of BMWs at this point. I guess I'm still in manual mode. I thought I was in automatic. Anyways, let's see if I hold it down, if that'll, yeah, there we go. Okay, now I'm in automatic mode. What I feel with this compared to a regular BMW is the fact that this just definitely feels a lot more hardcore, right? It is faster, significantly faster than, like, again, I've driven an M340i, and this is a lot quicker than that. Transmission response times feels the same from what I can feel with the paddle response and all that. It's just mostly the engine, right, feels just so much punchier. Suspension does feel a little bit stiffer. It doesn't feel as luxury-like. This feels a little bit more on the aggressive, sporty side. And then it's louder too. So basically, and then handling, like I can tell also going kind of around that. With the handling, it does feel sharper. So like basically, BMW's taken a car that's already really solid and they've made it better with the M3 Competition. It's a great handling car. It's tons of fun. And you can daily drive it. So like, I don't really have anything bad to say about the car, but I guess one thing that I do feel with these BMWs is they all feel so similar, right? Because they all use basically the same powertrain, but with different engine tunes. Maybe there's different turbos with some of the models and everything, but it's like, okay, we have inline sixes in a lot of the models, and then you've got the V8 and some of the bigger cars, and which is fine. But what it lends to is like, with this car, I don't really like, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of someone who'd buy this. I don't really feel like I would buy this over an M340i. Yes, this has more power, it handles better, it looks better in my opinion, and it's way faster as well. So like it's better on every single metric, but then I feel like the M340i is fast enough and it's fun enough that I'm like, it's like almost overkill in a sense, but it's still really cool. And this is such a rare car. Like I'm probably never gonna see another one of these again. So yeah, if you're interested in one, again, the Ford here in American Fork has it, and you guys can see the TRX right there. So yeah, check them out. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this BMW M3 Competition. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Kengar Ford here in American Fork for giving me some time with this BMW. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.